The silence of the deep night was a living entity, a chilling abyss, engulfing the entire village. The distant howl of a jackal, the monotonous, mournful chirping of crickets, and the whispering wind, all combined into an unsettling, ominous symphony. This unnatural stillness was like the cold, invisible hand of impending doom, slowly choking the life out of everything. Onik, seeking refuge from the mechanical clamor and bustle of the city, had come to his grandfather's old house. The house stood at the edge of the village, bordering a dense bamboo grove. With its weathered brick walls, broken roof cornices, rusted iron gate, and moss-covered courtyard, it was a haunted canvas, where the strokes of time were stark, the chilling touch of death evident, the shadow of hell cast upon it. Onik's grandfather used to tell tales of supernatural occurrences in the house. But the scientifically minded Onik dismissed such superstitions. He believed that the house's dilapidated state and the surrounding darkness were the sole sources of fear. To him, ghosts and spirits were merely figments of a weak mind, the product of a neurological battle. He considered himself a rationalist, believing fear had no place in his life, as if he was stronger than death itself, greater than the forces of hell. After dinner, Onik sat in his room, working on his laptop. Looking out the window, he saw the dark shadows of the dense bamboo grove, like countless black hands reaching out to grab him, like the black hands of hell. The wind rustled through the bamboo, whispering secrets, as if conveying ominous messages, like the messages of hell. Onik felt a strange unease, as if someone were choking him, as if the messengers of hell were suffocating him. Suddenly, he saw a dim light flickering in the bamboo grove, like a mysterious, burning gaze, following his every move, like the eyes of hell. Curiosity and fear mingled within him as he stepped out with his flashlight, as if walking towards death itself, stepping into the gates of hell. He entered the bamboo grove, following the light. The path was narrow and uneven, the branches seeming to block his way, as if invisible hands were trying to lead him astray, as if infernal forces were trying to trap him. The darkness around him deepened, and the sound of the wind grew louder, like an unseen chorus whispering in his ear, singing a deathly song, like the chorus of hell. Onik felt as if he were being watched, as if cold, bloodshot eyes were observing him, searching for his weaknesses, like the eyes of hell seeking his vulnerabilities. A short distance in, he saw the light settle beside an old well. A faint moan echoed from within the well, as if someone was suffering, as if a soul were crying out for release, like a soul in hell crying for deliverance. Onik's heart pounded, as if it were trying to escape his chest, as if the forces of hell were ripping his heart out. He shone his flashlight into the well, and what he saw froze his blood, as if all warmth had been drained from his body, as if his soul had turned to ice, as if the chill of hell had consumed his spirit. A white-clad figure floated on the water's surface, like a spectral vulture, like a vulture from hell. Its face was indistinct, like mist, like a being from the depths of hell. But its eyes glowed, like embers, like two burning stars of hell, waiting to devour his soul. The figure slowly raised its head and looked at Onik. A cold, terrifying smile spread across its face, sinking directly into his soul, shattering his rationality, destroying his beliefs, like the smile of hell destroying his faith. Fear paralyzed Onik, as if all his strength had vanished, as if his soul were trying to leave his body, as if the forces of hell were extracting his soul. He tried to scream, but no sound came out. He started to run, but his feet were rooted to the ground, as if an invisible force held him captive, as if the forces of hell were restraining him. The moaning behind him intensified, as if someone were chasing him, like an unseen hunter pursuing its prey, like the hounds of hell chasing him. The bamboo branches reached out to grab him, as if evil forces were trying to trap him, as if the hands of hell were pulling him down. He knew the figure was chasing him, determined to catch him, to claim his soul, to take his life, as if the forces of hell were determined to take his life. He managed to reach the house and slam the door shut, but he knew it was only a temporary refuge, as if he were trying to escape death, trying to escape hell. He collapsed onto the bed, his body feeling like stone, as if evil forces had bound him, as if the forces of hell had trapped him. He trembled, drenched in sweat, feeling the cold touch of death, as if every cell in his body were freezing, as if the chill of hell were consuming him. The moaning continued outside the window, as if the figure was circling the house, waiting for an opportunity, unwilling to let its prey escape, as if the forces of hell were unwilling to let him go. He knew he had no escape that night, that his rationality would be defeated, that he would become a victim of hell. Onik remembered his grandfather's stories of a cruel landlord trapped in the well. The landlord had been buried alive for oppressing the villagers, and his soul burned with vengeance, like a soul burning in hellfire. His spirit had been restless ever since, and the house, the well, the bamboo grove, all bore witness to his curse, like the gateways to hell. His grandfather had also said that the landlord's curse was embedded in every brick of the house, that every wall echoed his torment, like the screams of hell reverberating. As the night deepened, the moaning grew louder, as if evil forces were gaining strength, as if the gates of hell were opening wider. The temperature in the room dropped, as if it were turning to ice, as if the cold breath of death was spreading, as if the chilling winds of hell were blowing. Onik felt the figure drawing closer, as if an invisible force were pulling him, as if the hands of hell were dragging him down. The shadows on the walls moved, as if guided by unseen hands, as if spectral beings were revealing their presence, as if the shadows of hell were dancing. The furniture in the room began to move, as if animated by evil forces, as if the puppets of hell were dancing. Suddenly, the door burst open, as if an invisible force had ripped it open, as if an evil spirit had cleared the path, as if the gates of hell had opened. The cold air slashed at Onik, like the touch of death, like the knives of hell tearing his flesh. The figure slowly entered the room, like an evil shadow, like a messenger of hell. Its glowing eyes were fixed on Onik, as if to devour his soul, as if the eyes of hell were trying to swallow him. It reached out to him, its long nails like sharp blades, as if to tear his body apart, as if the nails of hell were about to shred him. Onik fell off the bed, trying to scream, but no sound came out, as if his voice had been stolen. He felt his life slipping away, as if an evil being were pulling out his soul, as if the hands of hell were dragging his soul down. The figure leaned over him, and its cold breath touched his cheek, like the kiss of death, like the kiss of hell. Then, everything went dark, as if the final chapter of his life had been written, as if he had been lost in the darkness of hell. The next morning, the villagers found Onik's lifeless body. His face was etched with terror, as if he had seen something horrifying before he died, as if the defeat of his rationality had dragged him into death, as if the terror of hell was etched into his face. Fragments of white cloth were found near the well, and bloodstains were found inside, as if the landlord's vengeance had been fulfilled, as if the vengeance of hell had been completed. The villagers knew that the landlord had found his release, and Onik had become a victim of the curse, a victim of hell. They knew that the house and the well would forever remain cursed, like the gateways to hell. And in the darkness of night, the landlord's spirit still roamed, seeking release, and waiting for its next victim, like the spirit of hell hunting for its prey.